Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So the motive of today's video is to understand the functionality of continuous statement in Python. The basic purpose of continuous statement is used within the loops to skip the remaining code within the current iteration. In this video, we are going to discuss the functionality of continuous statement, how things work, and what is the purpose of continuous statement in Python. So let's dive into our video and understand. We will also discuss one practice problem related to continuous statement so that we will better understand the purpose. This is the practice problem and I want you all to pause the video and understand the functionality if you know and give me the answer. What is the output of this program? Let's begin our journey. So as I told you that the continuous statement is used within the loops to skip the remaining code. So it allows you to control the flow of the loop and selectively execute the certain parts that you want to print after the certain condition of the loop based on specific conditions. Let's take a simple example of the even numbers and odd numbers, that we have a list of numbers from 1 to 10 and we want to print only the odd numbers from the list. To achieve this, we use for loop to iterate over such numbers in numbers list, and inside that loop we have an if statement to check if the number is divisible by 2, means it is even, that we encounter the continuous statement. And encounter the continuous statement means the loop to skip the remaining code inside the loop for the current iteration and move on to the next iteration. It means that it will skip the part and move to the next iteration. For each and every even number inside that list, the condition is true and it will encounter the continuous statement, and this will cause to skip all the even numbers and print only the odd numbers. Let's back to our program that I have discussed at the starting of the video. So let's understand the functionality, what is happening in this program, and what is the output. So first I create a variable named num and assign a value 10 to it. After that I create a for loop for I in range 10, means this loop will iterate, it iterates 9 times. After that I create another loop that is for j in range 2, 10 and 1, means this loop starts with 2 and ends at 9 and with increment of 1. Let's run our program and see the output. It gives output 31. And now let's understand why it gives 31 at the output. Let's clear the screen and see what happened this time. So the continue statement is after the increment. If I remove the continue statement and give continue before the increment, this time it will give output 21. So let's run and see, it gives output 21. Why it gives 31 when the continuous statement is after increment, and why it gives 21? So let's understand it. According to the conditions, the outer loop will run 9 times and the inner loop will run 8 times. This is because it starts with 2. The condition is given for the even numbers. The inner loop will iterate for the value of j from 2 to 9, and for each iteration the variable remain even. After that it terminates and increment the value of num, that is from 10 to 11. And for outer loop, the loop run from the value of I from 0 to 9, but this time the value of I is 1, and then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and the outer loop will iterate for 9 times. For each 9 times the value is get incremented and the answer is 20. This is because the outer loop will iterate 0 to 9, that is basically 10 times, and each time it will get incremented by 1. So basically 10 plus 10 is 20. After the outer loop finishes all iterations, the else block is executed. So the else block is executed after the for loop terminate naturally, and increment variable num by 1 again, and resulting variable is 21. This is how we get the answer 21. And if I replace the position of continuous statement from line 5 to line 6, then it will give the answer 31. This is obviously because each time the inner loop will execute and increment the variable num by 1. In case of 21, the continuous statement is at line 5 and the condition at line 6 is negligible because it skip the part and direct jump to the line 8 and increment the num. So this is the reason the output is 21. And if I swap the position of continuous statement from line 5 to line 6, then we will get the output 31. This is just because the increment case is before continuous statement, and for every value of I the outer loop iterate, the value get incremented double. This is because when the value of I is 0, the number is even and the condition is true and it will get incremented by 1. After that, the continue statement will skip the part and move to directly to the line number 8, and it will increment again the variable. So the number is 10 naturally, and after increment for if condition it will get 11, and when the continue statement skip the part it will increment it to 12. And after that, for the value of I is equals to 1, it will again the even number, that is 12. And when the condition if is true, it will again increment that to 13, and when continuous statement skip the part, it will again increment to 14. And when the value of I is 2, it will again get incremented, because it is even, so it is get incremented by 15, and then it is 16. And this process will continue until the outer loop will get terminated. For each iteration of outer loop, basically the value of number get incremented 2 times, double. First for if condition, and after that for line number 8 it will again increment it. The loop will run 10 times, and each time it will get incremented by 2. For each iteration of outer loop 10 times, the value get double, and that is 20. So the value of num is 10 naturally, and 20 plus 10 is 30. After that, the else block will execute when loop terminates naturally, and it will again increment for 30 to 31. This is how we get the answer 31 when we change the position of continuous statement after the increment. Let's check the same thing for odd numbers. Here I change the value of num from 10 to 9, and I give condition for odd numbers if num modulus 2 not equals to 0. It will give the output 20. It's just because the number original value is 9, and it will get incremented for outer loop that iterates 10 times. So 10 times the value get increment by 1, that is 19, and after that the else block will get printed, so it will become 20. This is how we get the answer. There is more in continuous statement we will discuss in our next videos, and I will also upload the video for break statements and some important points, some important tricks related to the topic. This is all for today's lecture. Thank you very much.